Hey everyone, welcome to the Huddle. It's really great to be with you again. It's been a little while, but we have a really cool guest today. This is Azita Martin, and I want to talk about her in just a second. But the subject today is artificial intelligence, all of the new capabilities, products, the things that we're seeing around the world that are changing AI. And AI is changing so much of what all of us do and what we will do in the future. I thought that it would be a great time to have Azita here. Azita is an executive at Nvidia who is all over the space in AI and chips, and started in gaming and has worked their way all the way to what we do today, and we'll get to that as well. But Azita, first, thank you for doing this.
Of course.
We got to speak to an audience together in January in New York at the National Retail Federation Big Show. And after doing that, it went so well, I thought the best next step would be for you to come here and talk to all of us about the things you talked about while we were in New York together.
Absolutely. Happy to be here.
Well, welcome to Bentonville.
Thank you.
Good to have you here. First, let's start with you. Talk about who you are, your career, and how you got from growing up, and I know you'll say where you started and how you got into artificial intelligence.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I actually lived in a lot of different places in the world, but went to high school in a beautiful island in Spain, in Mallorca. And, as a kid, I was really good at math and physics. And my father was an engineer, so the natural thing for me to do was to become an engineer. So I came to the US at the age of 17 to go to college and became an aerospace engineer, and actually worked at McDonnell Douglas on commercial aircraft for about 7 years. And then kind of realized that sitting in front of a computer and doing finite element analysis wasn't exactly something I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And so I decided to go to grad school and get my MBA. And at the time, all of a sudden, high tech and Silicon Valley was, of tremendous interest to me. And so I ended up aiming really high. There was a company at the time in the early 90s, it's called Silicon Graphics, SGI. And it's like, I want to work there. And so I applied to SGI and several other companies. And, it was a stretch for me. I was an aerospace engineer. This is a company that was making graphics for making movies. And so I was fortunate enough to get a position there. And that was really what changed the trajectory of my career. Like, I went from a very conservative aerospace industry to a very agile, very fast-moving high tech. And so, after several years there and a bunch of startups, I was working at a startup as chief marketing officer, and it was machine learning and AI for industrial world. And throughout these years, I stayed in touch with my boss at SGI. And so he decided to retire and move back to the UK. And he recommended me for the position. And, I knew at the time, and this is 7 years ago, that AI was the future and it was going to take off. And if there was one company that was going to lead that, it was going to be Nvidia. So I jumped on the opportunity and was fortunate enough to get the position that I have today.
Yeah, and so in your story, there is a lot of risk-taking, a lot of courageous moves, from Spain deciding you love physics, you love math, to aerospace, and then the next step, as you said, graphics, and then chief marketing officer. I actually didn't know that. I started at the degree in marketing and have worked my way into business, and now I'm talking about AI, so completely coming at it from a different direction. Yeah. So maybe as we get started, let's talk about AI, what it is, and what's interesting is I hear people say, well, I don't think I'm going to use that, or it's not for me, or I haven't learned a lot about it. But reality is, most people already have AI in part of their life, whether they know it or not. And it's around us, it's in our phone, it's in devices at home. Talk about some of the more practical ways that right now AI is in our lives, and let's make sure everyone hears using these models, using these applications is way easier than when we started 30 plus years ago in my career. Computers were hard, and it took a lot of training and a lot of time on call centers, and it's all gotten better. So it's actually easier to learn now than it was then.
Yeah, no, absolutely. AI is basically training models that can do certain things. And a perfect example is, if you're watching TV a lot and you use Paramount Plus, it knows what kind of movies you like, and it's constantly recommending personalized recommendations based on your taste and your history. Or when we're shopping, you know, if there's a good personalization e-commerce solution out there, it's actually, you know, knows what you like, and it's recommending the right products that would be of interest to you, and it's, you know, it's helping you pick what you're looking for.
It is, and all the data that we enter, and the more we tell it, obviously what we try to do is understand your intention. So as a shopper, when you express intent, what you're looking for, you may be asking about services at the auto care center, or ordering a cake at the deli, or you may be ordering something of a certain color. We try to help make it more intuitive so that the next time you're in, we can know those things about you. We can know what kind of car you're in. We can know roughly how many miles it is and suggest it's time for service. Or if we know that you love the color red or you're a certain size, then we bring back some more choices that hopefully make your shopping experience easier and more intuitive.
Yeah, and I want to encourage everyone to use ChatGPT or Perplexity for simple things like, you know, I want to throw a party for my daughter and she loves, you know, mermaids. You know, what should I be, you know, buying, or you know, how do I organize a party, and give you ideas about, you know, simple things like that. Or, you know, writing a Valentine's note for your significant other, and you'd be amazed that the great recommendations that ChatGPT or Perplexity can make. So I encourage everyone to go ahead and use it, because it actually can be an incredible assistant to anyone.
Let's talk about Nvidia for just a second before we get into the technologies that are out today. Started in late 90s, if I remember right, in video architecture for gaming. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, basically, it was about making gaming almost like real life, like you're inside the game. And for that, you needed a lot of graphics power and rendering. And so NVIDIA basically started in, you know, the graphic processing unit for rendering of video games. And in fact, when I joined 6 years ago, people didn't know who we were. It was like, oh, you're the gaming company. And we're like, no, we're like the AI company. Now everybody's like, you're the GPU company. It's like, no, we're actually the accelerated computing company.
Then this year in January, NVIDIA was the keynote at CES. Jensen was there. And back to rendering for a second. He showed a video, and in the video, we're creating about one out of every 32 pixels. So we're creating a bit of it. And then the machines, the models can run and create the rest in real time, which is really different than playing a video game, which is reacting to inputs. Right. Now it's doing it on its own. Right. Quite a big journey from back in the 90s to where we are.
Yeah. And the other thing is Agentic AI, right? Jensen talked about Agentic AI, and these are agents or generative AI models that you train. They're specialized in, you know, a specific area of expertise, and they kind of work in concert and orchestration with other models. And agentic AI models, they can perceive. It's almost like they can see. They can reason. They think, and they take tasks and they plan, and then they're autonomous. They take action. So they do specific things, or they trigger other agents to do specific things. And I think the example we talked about at NRF, and I think it's simple to understand, is a agentic AI agent that's watching the weather. And if there's going to be a snowstorm coming in 48 hours, it's instructing other agents to go and order more shovels or you know, flashlights or so forth, to make sure that you have that in the stores that are going to get affected by that. And of course, that thing, agentic AI in itself is really evolving very, very rapidly. And the way, you know, I'd like people to think about it is they're creating digital intelligence, and they're bringing knowledge faster to your associates. Right. They're helping your associates make decisions much, much faster, and helping your company become much more agile and faster response to changes that are happening that impact your business.
And Wally is helpful because you can just ask a question and it runs off and it finds all the data, then it summarizes it for you in a way that's easier to understand. So it's faster, it gives you more real-time data and true insights into what's going on in these models. We talk about perception and then reasoning and then taking action. Perception is just, as you said, seeing, hearing, gathering what's going on around you. Reasoning is then thinking through all the choices that you could make. And then at a point, then we can decide to allow them to take action. But for retail associates, let's talk about some of the examples, like drawing planograms, modulars for stores. That's an example of, we gather the data, we decide what should be on the counter, on the shelf, how to best arrange it, and they can draw it out. And then that allows our associates to be the editor.
Right.
In stores, it can be things like, we've looked at everything happening in your store. When you walk in the morning, here are things going on, and here are some things that could most readily there to be able to help you have the best day you can have and the most productive day you can have.
Yeah.
So it just saves a lot of time and a lot of fat gathering. And most people may not know, but our super centers are about 4.5 acres, and some of our distribution centers are over 20. Mm-hmm. And so having this information when you get there saves you a lot of time in walking around, gathering what you need to. Because in a lot of cases, the data's there. We just haven't been able to have, in most simple terms, the computation to be able to get it and bring it back and present it in a way that's in the language that you speak. Could be English, Spanish, French, whatever you want it to be.
Yeah. I mean, I would just say AI is so much bigger than Agentic AI, right? Like, computer vision has been around for so long. And it's, being used in stores, for example, for loss prevention, or making it easier for customers to check out. I think the planogram example that you talked about, that's more like physics AI, right? Mm-hmm. Being able to create a physically accurate digital representation of your stores and actually integrating your planogram in there and be able to have your merchandising people actually look at different planograms and decide what is the best planogram digitally, and how does it really sit on your shelves before they actually go and make that decision. And so it optimizes ultimately your merchandising and your revenue. And then, of course, all the examples that we talked about around generative AI.
Yeah, someone told me recently that our only limitation is our imagination. So with the evolution of what we're going through, we're talking about from machine learning to AI to generative AI, agentic, physical, lots of omniverse. Like, if you can dream it, it can probably happen. But what is important to us is we're people led, and we're tech powered, and we're an omni-channel retailer. We have a strong purpose to save people money and live better. Our founder gave us that. That won't change. We have core values that we're really proud of. Those won't change. But we want to be able to give our associates all over the company, in stores, fulfillment centers, distribution centers, here in the home office, the very best tools so that they can start their day with the information they need, and they can just move into the day with momentum and not have to relearn, redo some of the things that they've had to do in the past. Because, as you said, the more data, the more practice, the models just get better.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we seriously believe that AI is assistance to your associates. Mm-hmm. It's giving them the information that they need, in real time, so they can make smart decisions, make recommendations with a lot of data, and so they can spend their time helping your customers, find exactly what they're looking for, making sure that the store is set up in the best way to provide the best shopping experience for your customers. So it's really about digital intelligence and productivity for your associates.
That's exactly right. Okay, last thing. If you're new to the subject, or if you don't know anything about generative AI, or you haven't heard any of this before, start with, what would you recommend? I've met you a few times now. I can tell you're one of those people that probably learns something every hour of every day and always curious. But it's never too late to decide you want to get into the field that you're in, do what I'm doing. But it's never too late to try to just jump in, learn, pick up, and go. And to me, this is an interesting time because so much of this is new. People, associates, students, anyone around the world can make a decision to be a part of it. And there's so much opportunity for everyone. Is that the way you feel about it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think my number one advice to everyone is, first of all this AI stuff is new. Right. Some of us have been in it longer, but you can learn about it now, and you can start using it. You don't have to be a data scientist to leverage Gen AI. There's so many incredible tools out there, ChatGPT, Perplexity, that can make you actually a lot more productive. So, my recommendation is the world is changing at incredible pace. And, if you have the attitude of, I'm too old for this, you're like doing yourself a real disservice. Like, it doesn't matter what age you're at, if you're really young or if you're, much more mature, there's so much to learn to really leverage that, be, an ever-learning machine, in my opinion, and stay abreast of all the latest that's going on. Listen to your gut, like what gets you excited and interested, and go pursue that. And I always tell people, don't, count yourself short. I would especially say this to younger women. There are a lot of times when, there's a position open and you go, well, I meet, 6 of the 7 qualifications, so I'm not going to apply. And, I encourage, every young person in particular to believe in themselves, believe in that you are not always going to know the answer to everything, but you're smart enough that you will learn if you're passionate about it. And so go for your dreams. Try to learn as much as you can from other people that, could be role models for you. And you'll get the job. It's happened to me multiple times. And just as long as you're staying smart and learning, you will grow in your career. Don't be afraid of failure. Failure is the best way to learn.
It's temporary.
And
it's a learning opportunity.
And it's a wonderful learning opportunity.
Yeah, really, really great advice. And if you apply and you don't get it, it's okay. Apply for the next one.
Exactly.
But the best way to be sure you'll get a no is not to try.
Exactly.
And someone told me one time that losing or failure is temporary.
Exactly.
But not trying or giving up, that's permanent.
It's what did they say? It's no now, but
maybe
not
later.
Maybe later.
Maybe later. Well, thanks for coming. We're going to get to spend some more time with more associates today. I'm sure they're going to love being around you. But for everyone out there, just know that we're all thinking about and working on how we can make the future of our company more successful with partners like Nvidia and partners like Azita. Most importantly, we want to make sure that we are developing the right tools so that we can help you be the most effective that you can be in your role with all the information we can be. Thanks for listening and looking forward to the rest of the day.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.